No, your days of moving slow are over. You're no former Marine Corps crew depot, and you'll move with some kind of speed intensity in your bodies. Do you understand that? Yes, sir! No, I said you understand that! Yes, sir! You must not start off right now! Right now, you must not start off! Aye, sir! Aye, sir! Aye, sir! Aye, sir! Just question! Aye, sir! Just question your face! Okay, louder! Yes, sir! No, louder! Yes, sir! Get on there! Get on there! Get on quarterdeck right now!
Yes, sir.
November the 10th, 1775, some 8 months before the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the Second Continental Congress has resolved that 2 battalions of Marines be formed to serve with the fledgling Continental Navy. 18 days later, Samuel Nicholas, an innkeeper from Pennsylvania, becomes the first commissioned officer when he's sworn in as a captain of Marines. He began recruiting immediately from a well-known hangout on the Philadelphia waterfront called Tun Tavern. By mid-February 1776, some 300 Marines were serving aboard 8 Navy ships, and in March of that year, American Marines would make their first landing on a foreign shore at New Providence in the Bahamas. The warfighting legacy of the Corps began with these first few good men, and over the next 200 years, that legacy would be enhanced by the thousands of Americans who stepped forward to serve their country. This devotion and spirit of sacrifice was especially evident in 1917, when young men answered the call to arms as the nation reluctantly entered World War I. The Marine recruiting slogan at the time was the stirring "First to Fight." Volunteers from across the country flocked to Marine Corps recruiting stations, and those accepted for enlistment were initially sent to training bases at Mare Island, California, and Parris Island, South Carolina. Soon after being taught the basics of hand-to-hand combat, discipline, and marksmanship, these young patriots found themselves on the battlefields of France. Facing great odds at every turn, the Marines routinely displayed extraordinary courage and bravery. The aggressive fighting spirit of these unflappable leathernecks so impressed their German enemy at Belleau Wood that they were nicknamed Teufelhunde, devil dogs. After more than a year of intense fighting on the European front, the casualties were mounting. More men were needed. But where were they to come from? That's when Marine Corps leaders instructed recruiters to seek out women with competent business and clerical skills so that more men could be freed up to fill critical combat positions overseas. Marine recruiters were quickly faced with more than 2,000 eager females ready to do their part for the war effort. Only 305 of them would ultimately be accepted for enlistment, and by 1922, all women serving with the Marines were discharged. It would be 2 decades before they would again be invited to serve in the Corps. The years following the Great War found the Marines in numerous conflicts and skirmishes in many isolated parts of the world. Recruiting of men to fill the vacant ranks of the Corps continued, but in post-war America, travel and adventure were the lures for enlistment. December 7th, 1941. The country is once again drawn into the chaos of war, with Japan's surprise bombing of Pearl Harbor. Caught off guard and unprepared, the Fleet Marine forces of the Marine Corps were already spread dangerously thin due to worldwide deployments. The Corps was simply not ready to send massive numbers of troops into battle. They needed men, and fast, and virtually every able-bodied man who was old enough to join eagerly rushed to recruiters, anxious to get into the fight. By February 1943, with an immediate need for manpower in the Pacific, the Corps once again looked to America's women to come to the aid of the country. Responding to the recruiting slogan, "Free a Marine to fight," women from all walks of life came forward to take the place of men who were serving in non-combat jobs. Over the next 3 years, more than 20,000 women would serve in the Corps, freeing up enough men to form the 6th Marine Division. Following the surrender of Japan and the end of World War II, the Marines continued to find themselves on foreign soil, taking care of America's interests. Just as it had been in the preceding 2 centuries, the cry of "send in the Marines" would be heard whenever a crisis abroad demanded a quick and immediate response. From the Corps' earliest soldiers of the sea to the rapidly mobile expeditionary forces of today, it has always been the Marines who provided the nation with a balanced force and readiness, prepared to fight anytime, anywhere. But who are these people called Marines? Where do they come from? What is it about the Marine Corps that makes it so different from the other services? Only those who have earned the title understand the unique, almost spiritual commitment and loyalty Marines have for their Corps. It's truly a band of brothers, made up of men and women who feel an unabashed pride in their country, their Corps, and themselves. The Marine Corps motto says it best: Semper Fidelis, always faithful. These 2 words are, in fact, a way of life for Marines. So it's no wonder that the Corps is, and always has been, highly selective when choosing those who join its ranks. Marine recruiting posters have never made promises or guarantees. Rather, it's, "We don't promise you a rose garden." Or, if everybody could get in the Marines, it wouldn't be the Marines. And today, the Marine Corps' selective recruiting of America's finest sons and daughters continues.
On behalf of Range and Training Area Management Division Camp Lejeune, welcome to Building 1046, our new simulator center. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Riccio, and I am excited to introduce you to the state-of-the-art facility and training venue which supports warfighters from across all services. Please stay with me as we look to tour the facility. Our first stop is the indoor simulated marksmanship training area. The ISMITs, which now include all weapons up to and including Mark 19, basic marksmanship training prior to rifle and pistol qualifications, or can be as complex as integrated multiple heavy weapons into a platoon or squad engagement in a tactical scenario. ISMIT can help ingrain emergency action drills, gun drills, and more. The full capability of the systems can be learned with a stop by the ISMIT offices and informal discussions with the civilian staff or the Marines assigned to the ISMITs. Currently, 2nd Marine Division has priority of use for 5 of the 8 ISMIT bays. 2nd Marine Logistics Group has priority of use for all from the ISMITs are the Combat Convoy Simulator bays. The CCS consists of 12 separate vehicle bays equipped with either Humvees or 7-ton replicas. Vehicles have all the standard communication systems as well as Blue Force Tracker. Internal and external communications are monitored and all activities are recorded for after-action reviews. The CCS can best be utilized for training personnel in basic convoy operations. Consisting of 6 bays or as a single 12-bay event. All vehicles have weapon-mounted systems consisting of Mark 19s, M250 cals, or M240s. A separate AAR facility is available for small unit leaders to debrief the unit on the training conducted. Heading down the main corridor, we find ourselves at the SAVT. The Supporting Arms Virtual Trainer is designed to train JTACs, JFOs, and FOs. This 270-degree dome provides graphic illustrations of an area of interest in which personnel must plan for, coordinate, and execute. Training consists of both classroom instruction and practical application of processes and techniques used in planning supporting arms fires. Let's take a quick detour to the little-known repository for all the replica systems available for you to use in training. Along with US-style weapons, there are threat weapons, mines, IED devices, McMap equipment, rubber knives, dummies, clothing, and more. Anything can be checked out by sergeants and above for up to 30 days at a time via ECR cards, and extensions are routinely granted when requested. All we ask is that when you put an IED sim out somewhere, you remember where you put it and retrieve it at the end of training. Back into the main corridor and down the way is the heat trainer. 3 Humvee assistance trainer devices are available, and we provide all the PPE required, as well as weapons and simulated ammo and MRE boxes. Heat training is conducted by subject matter experts. SME training is conducted monthly by the Motor Vehicle Incidental Driver School staff, and SMEs are certified and are then expected to train their own Marines and sailors. Training normally consists of 3 events in the heat. The first rollover is essentially a basic rollover, a good orientation spin. The second normally includes a casualty requiring evacuation from the vehicle, and the third event is a rollover in blackout conditions. Heat training remains a requirement for all personnel. Consists of 1 Buffalo variant of MRAP, 1 Jaguar variant of MRAP, and the new JLTV. Training for the MET is the same as the heat. This is a Train the Trainer device. Let's make a quick stop at the Learning Resource Center located in Office 170B. The LRC is available for scheduling and for walk-ins. 1046, we find ourselves at the Range Training Instrumented Support System Warehouse. This is where you find the Instrumented Tactical Engagement Simulation System 2 equipment, counter IED devices, PITS targets, and multiple other training support equipment. This equipment is managed under contract, and units desiring to avail themselves of this equipment will coordinate directly with the contractor via their website. By the way, all of the needed points of contact for these trainers are listed in your Leader's Guide to Training Opportunities at Camp Lejeune. Behind the building, under the sunshade, is the last of the simulators, the Operator-Driver Simulator. The ODS consists of 5 separate driver and scenarios, and are graded on their performance. ODS is very useful in getting incidental drivers up to speed and licensed for status of forces agreements prior to deployments. Now that we've finished the tour of Building 1046, we're going to head over to C Street, Building 234, to check out the Modular Amphibious Egress Trainer.
MAET training gets our Marines and sailors experience in difficult water-related events, such as escape from a downed helicopter or a submerged vehicle. Preliminary training provides instruction in the basic use of the underwater breathing.
And last but not least, we recently constructed the Leadership Reaction Course on Steeds Ferry Road. It's located at the Fox 6 range in the vicinity of the gas chamber.
The LRC is designed to provide squad-level problem sets that will require teamwork, solid leadership, and physical ability in order to be successful. The LRC was designed to be available with a minimal amount of preliminary arrangements. The introduction of physical stress, fatigue, and environmental conditions can be used. Additional LRC sets are intended for future development in other parts of the base.
We hope the information provided will increase your training and warfighting effectiveness. For additional information, please feel free to reach out to the points of contact that will be provided following this video. On behalf of the RTAM Division, Semper Fidelis, and good luck.
The South Carolina Department of Public Safety and the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources are teaming up this holiday weekend to keep you safe. Whether you're on the road or on the water, never drive impaired, because we'll be looking for those who are.